Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Automated Advantage. Today we have Damien on, who's from a company called Dejong. Great perspectives, great, had been in business for a long time, and got a magic story about culture and actually living the culture. So hopefully everybody enjoys this. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Automated Advantage. We have Damien Andrews on today. So, Damien, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your company.
Hi, Damien Andrews. I'm the founder of Dejong Data Management, which started back in 1998, and yeah, we started as a records management house, and we moved through to now we're a digital transformation company working with organisations digitizing historical paperwork and workflow automation, migrations and integrations. And now moving more into the AI industry, and getting people's data into AI, and showing the benefits of AI within organizations. So yeah, that's where we are.
You're the only one getting into AI. Tish, you're ahead of the game there.
It's an interesting market because we're very early doors. It's challenging to show people the benefits of, everyone looks at AI and goes, oh, AI does this, oh, AI will take your job, AI does, and so there's a negativity around it. And then but what you see a lot of AI is, how it does the graphics and how it does those kind of stuff. But actually where we're moving into it more is how it can dive into your information, how using your historical archive or your original paperwork, which used to be very much, oh, let's keep it for that long. We only have to keep information for that long. So we'll keep it for 10, 15 years. Other items have to be sort of 55, 60, 70 years. So we'll keep it for that long and then we'll destroy it because we don't need to keep it anymore. Now, what we're trying to show people is that actually it brings you into a position now. The AI brings you into a position now where you can put that data inside your AI, and then that gives you a big pool of data, or a data lake as they call it. So you can then learn and analyze off it, and your large language models can actually get involved in it and actually see more information, so it can make decisions based on historical data rather than, oh yeah, we've got 2 years of records on our computer, right, let's use that. Well, that's not going to give it enough as much information as it needs to make those important decisions. So yeah, that's kind of where we are. But it's challenging to speak to. It's not on people's radars at the moment. It's this, the mentality still is, I'll get rid of that information rather than the benefits of keeping it. So
Yeah, and you can make a couple of interesting comments there and points there as far as it's going to take jobs away. And I was like, no, it's not. It's going to
yeah,
just get you to be more efficient and get to the answer faster. And
yeah.
people still have to do the checking your homework or however you want to frame that. The
Mhm.
second piece is what's interesting too is my daughter who's 29 years old and her friend. They were, I keep telling them how much I use it in my day to day, and they were like, "Yeah, we like to be free thinkers." And I was like, that's not the point. It's how you get to the answer. It's helping me be more efficient.
Yeah.
Um, but then for you too people are thinking, like if you're doing a search now based on your analogy or your description there is it's only going to be searching what it knows, right? So you've got to give it enough context and enough information to be able to go out there and search, like you said, go look at 10 years. 2 years
Mhm.
is not enough. And so that's kind of an interesting model. And then maybe the question that becomes following on to that is, would are you running into people being concerned about security and things like that? And if so, what are you addressing? How are you addressing that?
Yes, yes, yes. So the way you build it in a secure pool. So in the moment, you would point your AI and say, "Can you analyze for example, and it's a non-confidential document. Can you have a look at this article and summarize it for me?" It's taken that article and it's keeping it. It's open for everyone to look at in the future. It's learning off that. Where you build the AI, you build in a secure room, so the AI can only look in that room, keep the information in that room, and then tell you what's in that room. And it's kept all very secure, with all the different protocols and all that kind of stuff, and the platforms you use. But so that's had the security of it. But to be honest, there is when you speak about it, I think it's in the people's back of their minds about the security, but it's an easy challenge. That's not the challenging part. The challenging part is seeing how people can benefit from it and seeing what their historical information can actually be useful for the company. I mean, there's so many little things. I mean, it's the yes, you've got the big analytical models that can analyze the data, and for insurance organizations, you can look at it, they can look at it and they go, right, what patterns are there in this information that we're missing? Where is there vulnerabilities in certain policies? What policies aren't covered that we think they are covered, but they're not covered? What covers do we that aren't covered that we think are covered? All these aspects are important, but there's so many kind of nuances where you can almost have someone for the organization like sitting in the room and you can ask them anything about the company. Who was the sales guy that sold that thing in 1997 who the person who did that was da 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 da, he's found this and founded that. So you're really speaking, you're speaking that language. You're not having to go, can you cross um, on spreadsheet 17, can you cross analyze line 35 against to pay, sheet 14? Blah, blah. You go, can you find information on this? And that's really where it brings more information to people. Who was you've got the internet, obviously you can ask these questions, but even now when you look on the internet, you're asking questions and you're getting the AI response first before any kind of advert, as it were, or sponsored links and things like that. So it's all those interesting parts of it as well um, that are that really kind of bring the history of organisations and the depth of culture within the organisation. And there's a lot at the moment about companies that you don't have people who work for the organisations so much like, oh, I've been here for 30 years. You speak to people now and like, I've been here for about 5 years. You go, well, what happened before you? Oh God, I've only been here for 7. Well, who came before you? Oh, I think I'm the oldest person here, but the company's been around for 30 years. So there isn't anybody carrying the history through the organisation. It's only by having these digitized documents and using the powers of AI and everything to actually look into that info and keep that information and history alive. Otherwise, it just dies away, and just all you're doing is going from today forward, and not having that cultural depth of an organisation, which is so fundamental. I think when you're working within a place, you understand the culture, you understand the business itself, you understand everything about it, and then you can drive that business forward because you understand it um, from a textual point of view rather than just facts and figures and spreadsheets.
Yeah.
So
So thinking about the fact that you've said business since 1998, I'm going to guess, and maybe that there's two questions here. Validate the statement, and then also just tell us. So I'm assuming that with all of that information that you've been storing and digitizing and doing what you've done for the last, my math's bad, but for almost 30
yeah,
years, right? Is there's an opportunity now to go back to those companies and say, hey, now we've got all this information. Let's do an AI model around it. And then the second piece becomes, where are you seeing your growth right now for your business, and how you're attacking that?
well, this is one of the areas that we are looking to promote it more within those organisations. I think we've got to be speaking the language more of the benefits of it, so people understand where that information is and where it's coming from and the benefits of doing that. But again, the other side of it is the migrations, the integration side of the business is kind of where we're kind of looking to promote it more, taking people from legacy systems, taking old, redundant, or not redundant, but delinquent softwares and making them into valid information. We've kind of done a recent project with a large international where they've taken their historical databases and brought them into, it's amazing how the large organizations still use kind of very old systems that it's only when they kind of merge with newer companies that they suddenly adapt the newer softwares. When they have their legacy system that they just keep running because it's so much easier to just keep it running than trying to actually change. But when you get to that point, the crossroads, right, we've got to move on now to the new systems. Then that's kind of very much a growth for us in the last couple of years. We've been doing more of those projects, but yeah, it's really it's educating industries really on on how AI can actually benefit their organisations and how much data it needs to go into that to make valid or structured decisions based on structured data. Not small amount of not a pool of data, but a lake of data.
Yeah,
That's
and it's interesting again that so I don't know if I shared this with you, but my background is exactly the digital transformation. I'm a long time SAP guy. I did a little bit of Oracle stuff in my life, um, and when you explain to people, I sat with a couple of CIOs, and I was like, one time I just went on the whiteboard and I wrote this I drew this very three blocked diagram that said data, transactions, analytics. And the CIO was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, if you don't get the data part right, it doesn't matter what transactional system you put in place. It's going to be pulling bad data or providing bad data. And then your analytics are not going to be valid at all. And and I think to your point is then the AI component of that goes, if your processes aren't right, if your data, it's like it doesn't matter. You can automate junk, right? So I mean, are you seeing a lot of that where people are seeing the value of needing to get it right before they make these transitions, or some people just want to throw the baby out of the bathwater and start over again?
a little bit of the latter. It's more that there seems to be um, the visionaries, I think, within the organisation. There seems to be less visionaries within the organisation. Say, look, this is where we want to get to. They don't sit there and go, right, this is where we are today. This is where we want to get to. How are we going to get there? What's the best way of getting there? It's like, right, solve the problem today, solve the problem today, solve the problem today, solve the problem today. And before you know it, 6 months have gone by, a year's gone by, 18 months have gone by, and you're like, right, have you made the decision of where you're looking to go to? Yeah, we're coming to that. That's not on our radar right now. We're coming back to that in 6 months. And you go back in 6 months, and it's dead. As in, you're ghosted sort of thing, and then you try and recreate the conversation, and they're still in the same place. It's firefighting the whole time. There isn't seems to be less people who have got the vision to go, right, we're going to go to this point in the future. To get there, we need to start building those blocks now. This is going to be what we need to do to alleviate any problems now. We can see the problems happening in the future, so let's alleviate them now on a structured journey that we can actually solve those problems. There doesn't seem to be less people doing that. There's constantly, right, how do we make the most amount of money out of today? Da, 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 da. That kind of looking at it rather than right. Okay, let's stop. Everyone stop for 2 minutes. Let's look at see where we're going to. Let's get that plan in place. Let's build for that, and etc. It's just solve the problem, solve the problem. Oh, that's come up with an idea. Let's quickly do that. Let's put that in place. And so that's kind of
Yeah,
It's
what a novel concept to have a plan and a strategy, right? And so, I mean, I'm assuming too, just because again, my background is you're running into. I mean, when I started doing the implementation stuff, we were definitely spending multiple years doing it, and now all of these quote unquote cloud solutions, public cloud, private cloud, all of these types of things are pushing these implementations significantly shorter and getting to the results. I mean, and you didn't. I mean, are you guys focusing on a specific technology? And are you seeing that as well as like people are now expecting implementations to be, going to be dramatic 3 months when it used to take
yeah.
2 years, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's less. It's less so on the tech. There's so many technologies. I mean, um, we've had about 3 meetings with technology providers this week about use our software. Our software does this. This is how we can use our AI software. This is the solution for it. Da, 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 da. It's not necessarily for us. It's not that. It's changing the mindset within the C-suite of organisations to really start planning and looking ahead and making decisions now that they it's having that visionary conversations with people who aren't just trying to solve today's problem but actually looking to build a plan in place. And so when it comes to implementations, yeah, everyone wants it done in 2 minutes. Everyone thinks it's going to take a 5 minute job. Oh, that doesn't sound too bad, can you quickly do that? Or that sounds expensive. Well, yeah, but if you don't have to do it the way you're asking me to do it. If you want to do it in a better way, then we can have it in a much more efficient way. It will take slightly longer, but that will then last for 10, 15, 20 years because everything will be done in the correct formation rather than can you quickly build a solution to slot that into that, and make it work. Well, yeah, but that's going to be short-term view. Yeah, don't worry about that. That's not my problem. I just need this problem solved today, And so,
Yeah.
it's that kind of.
And I
Um,
want that big button on my laptop that if I just push it, everything gets taken care of. It's that
yeah,
magic.
exactly. Yeah. I haven't got time to worry about it. Just solve the problem that I've asked you to solve, which is this bit here. Yeah, but you need to look at this picture, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's where we were. Sorry about the light in my background.
No, no, you're good. Actually, it's working fine. It's
It's
perfectly.
just that we've had sunshine today, and so this is a south window, so the sun's kind of coming through, and it's like typically the one day I'm actually on the I'm using my screen,
It's coming
kind of.
across perfectly clear. It's fine. So normally I did it in a slightly different order, but it was a good conversation. So knowing you started in 1998,
Hmm.
right out of college, I'm assuming
But yes,
you.
after I did a couple of jobs. Yeah, I used to work for a company called Storage Tech in Toulouse, and that was quite of that was a yeah, it was good times, as they say. But yeah, that was the introduction to the kind of the media storage world, and then so I came back and founded this, and then um, we were doing the old media tape storage and rotations and that kind of stuff, and then that's obviously slowly died over the years. But you really that industry really we did see the whole change of everything that going on before it went from very much reliant on backup tapes
Jeez.
to then how the how it was really the cost of the internet and the fiber optics, and they came in, and how the bandwidth expanded, and then they could do data from across offices. They'd be backing up to different offices. The old London, Paris, Milan type thing, or was it New York? Yeah, London, Paris, or London, New York, Paris. Like, was it? And so you had the three offices that they used to kind of rotate their information through, and then it was about uh, sending it to the cloud and back up into the cloud and using cloud backups and that kind of thing. So that we really did see that a change. You could literally see it happening year by year. How technology got better and the change happened. Until now it just stays in the cloud. They're backing up to cloud to cloud to cloud and blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
So I mean, obviously, then being in business this long, you've done something right. So maybe the question becomes, what are the, I don't know what the number is, top three, top whatever number of things that said, look, the reason we're still in business today is when we started, we did this, and during the time we've adjusted to be able to do this, or whatever it is. I mean, it's a long time in business that obviously you're doing something right.
I think maybe we've been young enough, or we've been small enough to sort of to pivot onto different areas and look into different areas quick enough and change the direction of where we're going. There is the argument to say we could have been bigger than we are as well, but we still are. We've still kind of got a fairly we've got a fairly young team, although we've all got old together. The kind of I think our youngest member of the team has been with us for 10 years. So yeah, we've kind of all stuck together, and we're all a good team as we work. We're all on the same side, as it were. We all trust each other. So I think that's an important aspect for us. There isn't, we've had people come and go, but the core team have been with us for sort of 10 years, and we can rely on each other, lean on each other, and trust each other. Um, so yeah, there is. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the aspects we're still going. But yeah, it's a challenging market. It's a challenging times. Trying to get people to invest in new technologies and new ideas. There's very much always been. I think probably for the last couple of years has been a batten down the hatches. Don't go changing. So yeah, it's tough.
And again, I mean, obviously, if people are staying with you that long, there's must be a something keeping them, a management style in place, a culture in place. What do you think it is that's keeping people around?
I think it's. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the. I'm not sure what the. Well, I think I know what it is. I think it's. There is a lot of. there's a trust, I think, in the organisation between us. We trust each other, and trust doesn't just come down from, oh, I trust you to do this. It's actually the foundations of trust where we've supported each other, so that creates a layer of trust, and then we support each other a little bit more. We're not just straight into work. Da, 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 da. How's the family? How's the kids? How's this going? How's that going? Blah blah. So we kind of have an integrated knowledge of each other that creates another layer of trust and another layer of trust. So they kind of we have a embedded trust with each other, And one of the one of the interview things of when an onboarding part of the process is that we are all here to support each other. So don't if you start coming in trying to be an arsehole, let's say, you're not going to last very long. We're not interested in those kind of people here. We very much want people who are focused on the best for the company and supporting each other and making sure that you're doing everything you can to make sure the other person's job. So it's like that kind of management style, isn't it? You kind of go, right, I'm the manager, so do as I say. This is my place, and you're gonna work how I tell you to work. Or the preferred model, for which my preferred model is, what do you need to do to be successful? What else can I do to make your job better and to make you more of a successful person? And that's the kind of, I suppose, the attitude that comes down from the people downwards. It's like, right, what else do you need to make your job better? How can we support you? What else do you need? Well, I need to live here now because like one of our team has got a very bright child, and she got into one of the top grammar schools in the country, and so we then supported her to say, right, well, you need to move. So then, can you still do your job after you move? Well, yes, you can. We'll build the technology. We'll bring the systems in place to enable you to work online, and we can work online. And you can work remotely, and etc. But that's cool. That's perfect. That's great. What else? What else? Then we have another lady who then obviously has now had children. It's like, right, well, the most important thing for you is to make sure that you say goodbye to your kids in the morning, take to school in the morning, and pick them up in the evening. So you can build your job around that, and so you can be more flexible in that side. So you work a few hours later, but then you put the hours in, but you can build it around your lifestyle. And so that's the kind of thing where we always try to support the employees and that kind of side of it. And so we've got some people whose family are from other countries, and so in the summer where their job enables them to, they go and spend a few 3 weeks out there. The kids then spend time with the grandparents and all that kind of stuff, but they can work remotely abroad from those different places. So it's all about supporting each other and being, what can we do to make your life better, to make you a better employee, and to make your job more successful. I think that's really where we come from as a management side, downwards.
Yeah, and I think that's amazing to hear because we've all worked. Well, you've been doing this for a while. We've all worked for bosses that don't understand that aspect of manage the results. Like, hey, it doesn't matter where I'm at, what I'm doing, when I'm working. If I have a task to do and I have things to do, so I think the key is you've ingrained that culture. And so many people talk about, oh, we've got a great culture, and they
Mm-hmm.
just want to say that, and as opposed to really what you guys are doing is living this culture. And I think those examples that you use are massive in the sense of this, call it work life balance, call it trust, call it culture, whatever it is. It's so important to be happy in your life, and knowing that if you do have to run off and go pick your kid up from school, you're not feeling guilty, that your boss is not worried about it. And it's a massive accomplishment, and I commend you guys for that.
Yeah, I mean, we just on the phone earlier, and one of the ladies was just saying, I've got to go. We're in a meeting about some marketing, and she's like, I've got to go. I've got to pick us. Right, okay, give us a call when you're back. And then so this is accepted. It's part of that, part of the deal. It's
Yeah.
she's better when she could do that, being relaxed and and equally, equally if she's abroad on holiday, like at half term, she would take a call. She would take a call when she's up the mountain skiing. She'll take that call because she knows that it's important, because we're only calling her for important things, and all that
Yes.
sort of stuff. So it works both ways.
Yeah. No, I think that's exactly it. My goal when I started this company. So I went to Portugal for the first time last year, and we went to multiple places, but Portugal, I was like, I want to be able to go and work out of Portugal for 3 months in the summer. It's like,
Yeah,
it's my little, I have a vision board over here. It's kind of my little, hey, this is what I want to do.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This,
So,
I went to. I was doing this one strategy um, conference or conversations, and it was about five. I think it was just during COVID. It was like, right, let's have another business strategic business decision on where we want to get to, where we want to get, where we want the organisations to go, and etc. Um, and one of the things we learned from a previous conference was actually you start by asking everybody else in the company where they want to be, what they're like. You said, I want to work in Portugal for 3 months. Right, okay, how can we make that happen? That's part of it, right? Greg's going to be working remotely for 3 months from June to August, and that's that. So we build the company around that. So that keeps Greg as a part of the business, but he's more focused in the winter months and everything because he's got 3 months off in the summer or that kind of thing, wherever and that's I think that was an important lesson for us is to actually build the company and the vision of the company around the employees, not just right. We want this target and this target. It's yes, you have that, but also right. How to get there? We need to encompass other people's visions as well about their own lifestyle, about what they want. Because they might turn around and say, "I want to retire in 6 months," and you go, "Oh, hang on, I just built you into the plan for the next 10 years." Yeah, but for now, I'm off. Okay, you know,
and I think that that's another really key component too, in the sense of people feel confident enough to tell you that they want to retire. A lot of people will just wait until the end and go, "Hey, by the way, I'm leaving, and here's my notice. Here's my 2 weeks." Right?
yeah, 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 absolutely, yeah.
Can't
No,
plan for that.
no, exactly, yeah. It's that it's that encompassing them really into the whole plan.
So very enlightening conversations and stuff. So maybe as we finish up here, we get towards the end of the time. Tell us, like, maybe do your commercial in a way, say, hey, if you're a company that looks like this, that has this problem, we can help you. Tell us where to find you, those types of things. And
Yeah, so we are we if you're I think kind of a lot of our wins are with um, compliant organisations or organisations have to work with compliancy. They have legacy data. They are looking to um, embrace new technologies, they've got the challenge of getting either historical paperwork into new systems, or they've got the data already digitized, but it's stuck in a legacy system. They're trying to migrate it into new systems, and they want to embrace the AI capabilities. And it doesn't have to be AI today. It can be AI in 5 6 years, but you've got to start building your whole technology base so you can achieve that in time. So we just, for example, we're speaking to a few large financial houses, and they've got 50,000 units, like boxes or assets they call them, in archive, and they're saying, right, well, we want to. We know they've got to keep it for 50 to 75 years. Get it digitized now and start using it. Turn it into a proper asset, not just a record that sits in a remote place where you can't access it or gather it. It's a huge information pool that you can actually analyze and use. And so it's really kind of speaking to those people who are looking to use that and benefit from it, rather than just having that expense every month, paying out every quarter, every year, increasing prices. With the industry that we're in, the documents, the part of it, the document storage side, you've got permanent withdrawal fees, and they're just going like this. The storage level stays like this, but the permanent withdrawal charge is going like this. So we spoke to a company that's got been charged £25 a box for the privilege of taking it out of storage. And you're like, if that's £25 today, in 50 years, like, wow, that's going to be, but it's really, more than that. That's just a financial benefit that can sit within the finance department, but within the operational department and in the chief executive office, look at that, how much data that is that you could be benefiting from, and how much you could be analysing that data, and start that journey now. I mean, it's like when you look at the Olympics, the Winter Olympics has just finished. The next Winter Olympics is going to be in 2030. If you start your digital transformation journey now, like your big journey, getting all that historical data, you'll be finished by the next Olympics, and you call it Olympic cycle. You'll have it done by win that Olympic cycle. So when I spoke to a guy that goes, yeah, it's going to take 5 years to get all our kind of 100,000 boxes done. I'm like, yeah, but if you look at that, that takes you 5 years, if you look back 5 years, you go, oh, Christ, 2000, that only feels like yesterday, but you'll be, you look at 2030, and it's still quite a long way off, isn't it, 2030? But you'll be there. We'll all be there before you know it, and you could have had everything digitized. You could be living in that digital world with analyzing all that data and everything. But you're kind of putting it off because that sounds a bit of a hassle, isn't it? It's a bit of trouble, But actually
Yeah.
have that before. It's that's kind of who we want to speak to.
And then website is
It's Dejong.co.uk, or www.dejong.co.uk. And all of our services are on there, and a lot of white papers. If you look at our LinkedIn, Dejong Data Management, you can see all our sort of a lot of articles we're writing on there. A lot of things that we do are on there. Come and follow us and keep up to date.
perfect.
Lovely.
Well, this is really, really interesting, enlightening. I love the conversation about the culture of the company. And so, Damien, thanks so much for spending time with us today.
Lovely. Brilliant. Thanks, Greg. All right then. Take care.
To